All right. Give it like 30 seconds and see what we got. Hopefully that solved something.
Oh, is that something too?
How about that? See if that might have fixed it. I see the mic picking up stuff now, hopefully. Do you guys hear anything yet? Anything at all?
Well, we're on a delay, remember?
That's true. It shows it's picking up the mic now. So hopefully it's got it. Hey, there we go.
Hey!
Sorry about that, guys. Apparently I messed up my own settings. So Gray, I know you couldn't hear me. So hey, who all's with you there, Gray? Is it just you, or do you have your family there with you? Any of the kids, the wife? Let's see who else we got on. DEA, hey guys, how you doing? Um, Tavians, how you doing? Glad we got the sound all sorted
Mm-hmm.
out. Sorry that took a minute to get fixed.
What was wrong? The mic was just turned
For
off.
some reason, it wasn't picking up the mic. I
Oh,
don't know.
okay.
It's up now, so everything should be hopefully working. How's everybody doing
Okay.
tonight? Anybody watch any football today? We didn't. We were working with reptiles all day.
Plus, we're on a bye week and it's not a very good
Yeah,
year, so we don't really
yeah.
care.
Redskins fans, it's been a rough year. Hey, Al Harper, how you doing, guys? Or how you doing?
Hi,
Oh,
Miranda and Emma.
hey, Miranda, how you doing? Miranda, we've been missing the drawings. You got to start doing drawings again. Miss seeing all the drawings in the videos.
Excuse me.
How's everybody's breeding season starting out? So we just started. This was
Like
our
a week after
second
Tinley,
week.
so like 3 weeks, yeah.
Yeah, I think this is our second week. Starting out okay. It could be better. We have so our most. I'm going to zoom in on us a little bit. We are like way
Don't do
far
it.
away. Maybe that was too much. All right.
I feel like I'm too short.
You are. That's part of the
Sit
problem. You're like way. There you go.
there.
Sit up. It's because you are short, but we had a pretty good start. The some of the locks, the most important locks of the season actually have happened, so that's kind of good. But then we move those same males to other females, and they aren't locking with them. So you know, it is what it is. Kind of the normal start.
Hmm.
Um, yeah, it's been hit or miss, but it's only been 2 weeks, so you can't expect much for 2 weeks. We still have a handful of girls that we want to gain a little weight before we start breeding them. So I think we're gonna have if everybody gets up to size, was it 19 females this year breeding? I think.
That sounds right.
Yeah, which is pretty good considering not this season, but the past season was one female, one single female. So
Oh, yeah.
from 1 to
Yeah,
19 in
2
2
years
years.
ago.
Hey, Army vet, how you doing? Thank you. I'm assuming you actually are an Army vet, so thank you for your service. Oh, glad to. So you can see how long our delay is. We just saw your comment, Gray, about Miranda's drawings. Glad to hear she's thinking about doing them again. We
Yay.
enjoyed seeing them, so we'd be very happy to see them again. Anybody else start their breeding season yet? Yeah, yeah, 19. So that is definitely exciting for us. If one or two don't get up to size, we might be at like 17 or 16, but up to possibly 19. I think we've already got. There's only what four left. I think they need to get up to size to breed this year,
To make it to the
and
19.
yeah, to get to the 19.
Yeah.
So we shoot for approximately. My goal is average. If you have, let's say, of 10 girls, you get 40 eggs. Now that means that some girls aren't going to breed. Most girls will lay more than 4 eggs. So that's kind of what we shoot for. This year we did pretty good. So we had 10 girls and we got 46 babies, I think. Might be off by one or two. They were about
That's
46.
insane.
So the math worked out pretty well for my estimate. So that's good to see. 6
Oh,
locks so far.
nice.
Nice,
Yeah.
nice. Any really exciting ones? Our big exciting one was our super pastel desert ghost girl to our pastel yellow belly pinstripe desert ghost male. So that clutch will be all visual desert ghost. I'd really like to produce some more super pastel desert ghosts because even though it's just super pastel and desert ghost, they look so good. I know we've showed her on a couple of videos, and it's really hard to tell how good her colors are. But she is amazing. I got to press the camera real quick.
Oh, boop.
No, 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 not there. We
Where?
got to press right here. There we go.
It's my face.
Yeah, our camera likes to go inactive after a little bit, so we got to make sure we don't let it go completely inactive in between stuff. Do you guys hear? So I don't know how bad the background noise is. Hopefully not bad. We have a little bit of stuff running in the background. We have crested gecko caps cleaning in the background. I hear them back there rattling around. So I think last stream we talked a lot about hobbies, and I have a ridiculous amount. So what hobbies do you guys have outside of reptiles, if any? I have too many, um,
Yeah.
way too many. We have this super long delay, so it's like filling dead space between asking the question and getting an answer. It's like
Yeah.
crazy. I'm not
I
good
feel
with
so bad. I'm not sure how to change it. If anybody who's done streaming and knows how to change that so that it's not as big of a delay, please let me know.
trying for
Ooh,
pastel chocolate leopard clowns. Oh,
that
nice.
sounds
Oh, and
awesome.
Batman's hurricane. Oh, you got more going on with your hurricane stuff. Yeah, that hurricane stuff looked really good that we saw this year. And the so clowns, that's something, it's funny. We bought clown stuff hoping that we'd be producing this coming year, and we may or may not. We'll see. We have a het banana lesser het clown banana. Jeez, I'm doing it all wrong. Banana lesser het clown
Hmm.
male, and he's going to. I think is
He
he
was going
going
to the
to
cinnamon.
our? Yeah, I think he was going to go to our cinnamon het clown female, but she's one of the ones that needs to eat to get up to size. So, uh, thank you DEA. I'm glad we don't have any background noise going on. Tarantula.
Oh,
Oh, tarantulas.
woodworking.
So, yeah, I'm terrified of them. I'm arachnophobic. So, yeah, that's cool, but not my thing. Model making. Okay, model making. We'll touch on that one here. And woodworking. All right.
I love the wood. Like, what kind of stuff do you do woodworking? Because my grandfather used to do a lot of carpentry, and he made so much furniture that my family has. So,
And my family owns, still to this day, owns a toy woodcraft, they do toys and
oh
household woodcraft business.
like lawn stuff.
Yep, I
Hmm.
did that. I helped them with as a child doing all that stuff. But models, that's an interesting one. So what kind of models? We're talking like model cars, model planes. What kind of models are we talking about? Tabletop miniature models? Because there's a topic that Holly and I could talk about for hours.
They're all we talk about for
Yeah.
hours.
Fish and isopods.
Oh,
So fish. I did saltwater aquariums for about 6 years. And I'm jonesing for another one, but I just don't have the time right now because they are quite the commitment of time. And isopods, we do breed our own isopods, but just simple
oh,
stuff,
cool.
dwarf whites. And then we have springtails we breed as well, but therefore we have poison dart frogs, so we use them in their vivariums. The cabinets, that is intricate and nice. Model ships.
That's pretty cool.
Very cool.
I like
Very
that.
cool. Like any kind of ships? Are we talking old ships, like old sailing boats? Are we talking like naval aircraft carrier type ships? Or are we talking like scooters,
Schooners.
schooners? Like what kind of ships are we talking here? That's another thing, fishing. So growing up, my family had at any given time no less than 3 boats. So we did a lot of fishing growing up. World of Warcraft models.
Yes.
There we go. Now we're talking. You're looking at two WoW players right here. So I started back in Classic oh so long ago. Then I played in, let's see, I played in Wrath, and I played in Cataclysm, and then I did not play in Legion or there was another one in there. I didn't play in, and I played those three, and then I just started picking up in BFA again, so Battle for Azeroth. So, and
I'm trying to
Holly,
remember what you started me on.
Holly played, I think, in
Because I
Wrath.
remember I played something with like a huge group of you guys, and we would gather at one house, and everybody bring their laptop, and I was like, I don't like this.
Yeah,
Remember? And then,
and
so I'm trying to
now,
remember what it
and now
was.
you love WoW.
Yeah, and what was a different? It was a different time.
Thank you for the comment on the Lesser Cinnamon. Yeah, it could be a really really beautiful clown. So we're hoping for. HO model trains, model rockets, RC airplanes, and freshwater and tropical fish. Okay, so HO trains I did as a kid. I still have all my HO trains down in boxes down in the basement. I also did N scale, the tiny little trains, and then model rockets. I didn't really do a whole bunch. I actually have my boss is huge into model rockets. He shoots off. I think his club
Hmm.
meets every month, and he's one of the like founding members. So, and then RC planes. I had an RC plane. I actually do still to this day do RC cars. I did nitro growing up, and I've switched to electric as I get older because nowadays your electric RC cars still go just as fast as nitro.
Hmm.
Um, I mean, the only downside is you got to have multiple batteries to run just as long as you run a nitro instead of having gallons of fuel sitting around. But my electric cars run 60 plus miles an hour, not scale, real miles an hour. So yeah, RC cars had a ton of them, still do, and have a blast playing with those. World War II Navy ships, very very cool, very cool. Grace, a lot of saltwater fishing. Largest fish landed was a sailfish.
Oh, that's pretty
So
cool.
largest fish
Oh, cords in the
landed.
way. Let me not get touch that.
Landed's a tough one. So I did get like an 8 foot shark one time, but we cut it loose because we didn't feel like trying to bring it on board. My longest fight was, believe it or not, we had no idea what it was. I fought it for just shy of an hour, and it was ended up being a huge Stingray, manta ray. I don't remember which it was. I want to say manta ray. It was giant. Like wingspan was over 6 feet. It was huge, but it just wouldn't come up and surface. So we had no idea what it was. We chased it like when you run the boat towards wherever you're um, Holly's not doing her job. Where you run your boat towards wherever the line's going. We chased it, and it took me an hour to get it to surface, and then just shy of an hour to get to surface. And then once it surfaced, it was worn out, so it was easy to get it then, and we released it as well. But yeah, that was an exciting one. I thought I caught something really big fish wise, and yeah, not exactly what I was expecting after that long. Let's see. Friend was into Engage. I always did electric RC cars. Nitro seemed faster. Nitro used to be faster, definitely, which is why I did it when I was younger. But nowadays, the electric cars are just as fast. I mean, you can buy Traxxas, which is like probably the biggest, well-known um, RC company, kind of the lowest grade of the hobby grade RC stuff. They make oh geez, I want to think it's called the like XO1, maybe. I'd have to look. But it's like 100 miles an hour out of the box. You can like flip a switch between I think like 60-mile-an-hour mode and 100-mile-an-hour mode. 100 miles an hour, real miles an hour. That's ridiculous for an electric car out of the box. And it's crazy fast how nowadays electric is the way to go in my opinion. Listen, the sound of nitro is still super cool. You have that little gas engine running around, but electric's easier. It doesn't require tuning, and it's so much nicer just to plug in a battery and go and enjoy what you want to do, and then end your day and be done. And then I'll have to clean up after nitro, which is also a pain. So I enjoyed nitro, but electric's the way to go now.
Yeah, I don't do all that stuff.
Yes, yes. Rays do take forever to bring up. It was a long, long battle that was very disappointing after doing it that long. And my arm hurt for like 3 days afterwards. It is crazy how much work it is to do something like that. I have mad respect for fishermen who sit there and battle fish for long battles because it's tiring, very tiring. Whoa.
So, oh, sorry.
Alice. Yeah, RC10s. I remember those. Wow, that was when I probably was doing RC stuff. RC10s were popular back then. Definitely one of the most common cars back then. And then there was a excuse me. There was a big rush to stadium trucks because stadium trucks were the thing, and now it's a little bit of everything. Buggies and truggies are kind of the biggest too. Um, I don't race. I just play. Occasionally have friends over and run, but that's even rare nowadays. Um, Other hobbies I have, let's see, paintball, um, tabletop miniature gaming. So Warhammer, if anybody's familiar with that. Um, Role play gaming. So Holly and I both play Dungeons and Dragons. Yeah, total geeks over here. But then we go from geek.
I'm not.
Man, I'm losing my voice, guys. Excuse me for 1 second. And then we go from geek mode to like badass biker mode because we both have motorcycles. Um, I had a Harley and a custom chopper before, and I sold both of those. And Holly had, I really am sorry, guys. Um, Holly had a Honda, and now we both have Indians. So, yeah, motorcycles. What other hobbies? Let's see. I do leather crafting. I make chainmail. We like going to the Ren Fair in costume. Um, there's stuff that we do. Of course, all the animals, tons of pets, and all the animals for the business. So that's always been a big part of what I enjoy is just
Mhm.
anything animal related and covers most of the main hobbies.
Yeah, pretty much.
Probably some other little ones in there, but
Don't get to do stuff as often as you'd like, but
yeah, we're too busy. Running a small business and then both working full time jobs. It's tough. So it's a lot of hours. A lot of hours. Holly's very quiet, if you can't tell. She
you
doesn't say
you do
much.
all the
It's
talking.
your turn, because I'm losing my voice apparently.
I have some water or some coffee at 7:20.
You gotta talk. I'm
I
taking a break.
Okay, that's fine. I don't. I'm not really much of a talker, but um, yeah. So Daryl mentioned fishing. Here's a funny little story for you. He probably already knows what I'm going to say. So when we first started dating, this was back in like 2003, 4, something like that. I went on a fishing weekend trip with you and your family, and your cousins were there, your grandparents were there, and everything. I was the only outsider, so I guess they have to initiate somebody. So I get sick on the boat because I'm never really sick on the boat. On a boat, I've never really been on a boat. We're in Maryland near the bay, and never really been. And I think your grandmother gave me Dramamine
Because
because
you were
I
getting
mean because
sick.
I was getting sick. So I fell asleep on the boat, and when I woke up, Daryl's like, Holly, Holly, we got a fish finally. We got a fish. We hadn't been getting fish all day.
Watch your foot on the
So he
table.
says we're getting a fish, and because it's my first time, he wants me to reel it in. So I'm all excited, but I'm still doped up on Dramamine, and I'm reeling this fish in, and it's not that hard, right? So I'm like, really, guys, it's not that hard to reel in a fish. And then I see it coming to the surface, and I am excited. I am so excited for this. And what they did was they put the bait on a hook and
Yeah,
threw it out there for me
it
to
was a
get.
bait fish. I mean, it was a big bait fish because we were. What were we
We were
fishing
in the
for?
bay.
I
I
don't know
don't
what we were
remember what we
fishing
were
for.
doing,
Might have been
but
stripers that day,
yeah.
maybe.
So that's our life.
Yeah. So getting back to comments, yeah, leather
Oh,
crafting.
yeah.
So that comes from my family owning a wood crafting business. As a kid, I used to do like little crafts to sell at the craft shows too. And I started doing leather stuff when I was young, and then I haven't done a lot. But then I started picking it up again recently. Just little stuff, nothing fancy. I'm definitely not. I am
Like
an amateur.
you've done a lot of bags.
Yeah,
You've been working on a shirt before.
no leathercraft, not
Oh,
chainmail.
oh, sorry. I
Yeah.
saw that
You're
there's a
thinking
cord
you're
here, and
thinking
I'm.
chainmail. But yeah, that little stuff. Nothing super crazy, but
Yeah.
it's amazing what little useful stuff you can make out of leather. Uh, and then great story. DEA, you make rings out of coins. I have seen lots of people do that, and they always look amazing. I always thought making rings was a cool skill that people have, and then
Well,
making them out of
that's
coins
cool.
is very, very cool. Very cool. Stories.
I
So,
like it.
Holly's telling fishing stories. I have a couple crazy fishing stories, which is why I don't go fishing very much anymore. One time I was out, my family chartered a boat. We were down in the Gulf of Mexico fishing. So we chartered a boat for a day to go fishing because my family was a huge fishing family. And we went out into the Gulf. It was like an hour or two out, and then we tied up right next to, not like literally on top of, maybe I don't know, 100 yards, maybe less, probably less, maybe 50 yards away from an oil rig because fish hang out near oil rigs, right? So we're fishing, and
Sure.
I was like about 13 at the time, and I went into the cabin to take a nap in the middle of the day, and I woke up and it smelled like smoke. So I went out and asked people if that was normal, and then when I turned around, smoke was billowing out of the cabin area of the boat. So our boat caught on fire next to an oil rig in the Gulf of Mexico. Now, as a child, being 13 years old, I just imagine the boat catching on fire, the oil rig catching on fire, huge
Michael Bay
explosion,
explosion.
and everybody dies, right? So I'm terrified. The captain's like, apparently it's a new boat to him, so he didn't know where the engine bay fire extinguisher was, so he pulled one of the little ones to try to put out the fire in the engine bay. Meanwhile, he's sending out an SOS. We're click on that. Yeah, there you go. Sending out an SOS. We're getting thrown life jackets. They eventually get the fire out, but he's down to one engine, so only one engine's working, and he doesn't want us to get stuck there for a long time. So while they're still, man, I really am losing my voice tonight. Sorry, guys. While they're still putting out the fire, another chartered fishing boat comes up, and they were all in about 2 foot seas. So if you're familiar with boat, that means the swells are about 2 feet up and down. Um, so that other charter fishing boat backs up to our boat, and I'm a kid. They kind of just toss me boat to boat, but all the adults have to kind of like jump boat to boat in 2 foot swells,
Oh my
which
god.
was interesting. And then, because that other boat was a charter boat, they weren't going to take us in. And the captain's like, listen, it's going to take me like 4 or 5 hours to get it in one engine. So there was I don't want to call it a cruise boat. It was a boat that a family had chartered to go out and see the Gulf that was out in the same area. And the whole family got sick, seasick. So they were heading in. So we got to jump boats a second time onto a boat full of seasick people, and that's the boat that took us in. And then when we got in, we waited like a good 4 or 5 hours for the captain to get in with his boat. And yeah, so been on a boat on fire next to an oil rig, which as a child was terrifying, absolutely terrifying. I've been on a large,
I remember that story, but
um,
I don't remember the seasick thing.
yep, that was the way in. Been on a very large. If
Excuse me.
anybody's familiar with Ocean City, Maryland, there's a lot of chartered fishing boats out there. So there used to be a big one called
Oh,
Miss
what is
Ocean.
Ocean City? Yeah.
Yeah, used to be a big boat called Miss Ocean City. It was like 100 person, so not like the boat I was talking about before was like a family size charter boat. This was a charter fishing trip. It was one of the big, like 100 people on one boat kind of charter fishing trips. We're out and we're out in the ocean, and the captain comes on the speaker and he's like, hey, I'm getting, I'm hearing something about like large waves and a storm coming, but I don't see anything out here, so we're going to go try one more spot. We're going to go move. So he moves, drops anchor. By the time we drop anchor, he goes, okay, guys, so they're having 10-foot waves in at Ocean City. We need to get in. So we're on, I don't know how long the boat was, but imagine a charter boat big enough for 100 people. It's huge. We're on that going in, and what he's doing, and actually my family knew the captain, so kind of got an in once we got into shore. We got to talk to him about it. As he's going up the waves, he's full throttle, and then when he gets to crest of the wave, he's pulling the throttle completely back because his propeller is coming out of the water as he crests the wave coming back down. And we have waves going over the ocean of this triple decker boat. Scary, another scary situation on boats. He actually got permission apparently from the Coast Guard to beach his boat on the beach of Ocean City if he had to, if he couldn't get it back to the dock. That's how bad it was. So, another crazy fishing story. I, because of these, try to stay away from boats now as much as possible because I think that I have wore out my 9 lives of boats stories. And I've been
Yes.
ignoring comments while I've been telling my super long fishing stories. So let's see what else people have written. Oh, interesting fishing trip. Yes, they were interesting fishing trips, both of them. I still enjoy fishing, and I'm not opposed to going out on boats, but I definitely feel
Mm,
like maybe it's not safe
maybe
for
you don't
me.
want to get on a cruise.
Yeah, maybe I've been told some way, shape, or form that I shouldn't be getting on boats.
All right, what you need.
But yeah,
Yeah.
I have
No.
three citations, fish citations. So if you're familiar with fishing, a citation for a fish is not a bad thing. Getting a citation like a ticket, that's a bad thing. But a fish citation is if you catch a fish of a specific type above a certain size. It's big enough that you record it and they give you a certificate. So I have a couple citations.
Yeah.
I wouldn't go out on a boat with me, Gray. We can go fishing. We just need to fish from like a
We
dock
need to surf fish
in a pond or a lake or off a
or
pier
in a
or
puddle in
surf
the
fishing.
backyard.
I still do surf fishing. That's safe, you know.
No, it's not. You've caught a shark.
I have caught a shark surf fishing, a pretty
So,
decent size, but like a 4 footer off the
yeah,
beach,
so we're not doing
off
that
Ocean
either.
City Beach. But no, it's
It was
safe.
an
We're not
indoor
in the
shark.
water. You only go like knee deep to cast out and then run right back in. Surf fishing is perfectly fine. You got to watch your foot. Keeps hitting
I'm
the table.
sorry.
There you go. There you
I,
go.
I have
Holly's
no.
shaking the camera. Sorry,
It doesn't look like it's
we're not
shaking.
having an earthquake. It really is just Holly just hitting the table
We're
over and over
not doing
again.
that.
Um, but yeah, I still enjoy fishing. I feel like maybe I'm not supposed to be on boats.
Probably not.
We still have
We'll see.
kayaks. We go kayaking
We'll stay
occasionally.
safe on the shores with our
Yeah.
reptile.
That's another hobby. Kayaking, kayaks. We go hiking. That's another hobby. I told you too many hobbies. Way too many. I don't have enough time.
Yes, let's be clear. We do these um, intermittently. We don't do them all the time, all at once. These
Yeah.
are just things that we've done over the years that we like to do and do when we can, when
Yeah.
we have the opportunity.
And we still do.
So
Like you know.
I
We've,
just meant like we don't spend like in a month
oh geez, no.
all this stuff.
No,
So
that's why I don't get to do the things very often. It's because I just have too many hobbies.
mhm.
But I enjoy them all.
Mhm.
Thank you. So
So
congrats on the citations. Thank you. Have I remember when I was a kid, we did a fishing tournament, and there was 3 trophies. There was a trophy for the largest fish. There was the trophy for combined total weight of all the fish you caught, and then there was trophy for most fish.
I know where this story's going.
And I should have won all 3 trophies, but one kid decided to take a net and catch minnows next to the shore, so he won the trophy for most fish
Hey,
instead of me.
hey, he won fair and square.
I caught the biggest, and by weight, I had the most. And I also, compared to everybody except for the kid who caught minnows on the shore, had the most fish as well.
He
But
deserved that trophy.
I still have
You don't take it away from him.
my trophies from that. So yeah, a lot of fishing growing up, a ton of fishing.
You're too
Um,
funny.
what else? We go to the gun
Uh,
range. We have a few
Once in a
firearms, a
while.
couple, just a couple. So I enjoy shooting. I did hunting growing up, but it was definitely hunting. There was no shooting involved then because I never saw anything when I was out hunting, except for squirrels when it was deer season, chirping at me in the tree, yelling at me that I was out there, which was annoying as well. But yeah, used to go hunting too. All kinds of all kinds of stuff. I can pretty much talk to if anybody has any like reasonable amount of hobbies, like 3 or 4. Typically, I at least have one of them in common. So or have done a significant amount. I am definitely, and I just learned the definition of this the other day. So I am not the greatest with the English language, apparently. Um, Renaissance man fits me perfectly, like a jack of all trades kind of person. Jack of all trades, expert of none. That's me. But I've always heard that the difference between a genius and an expert is an expert knows a lot about one thing and a genius knows a little bit about everything. So I remember I told in my last video I was talking about intelligent conversations with myself. It's because I'm a genius, clearly. Besides clowns, what other great projects are you working on this season? So to me, the most exciting stuff. This stuff piece. Most exciting stuff this year is the Desert Ghost that we're going to be doing. So um, along with the Desert Super Pastel Desert Ghost to the Pastel Yellow Belly Pinstripe Desert Ghost, that pastel yellow belly pinstripe desert ghost male is going to quite a few females. So we're
Oh
going to be
yeah.
producing a lot of Het Desert Ghost stuff this season. So I'm super excited about working with Desert Ghost. It is my goal has always been to produce animals that look as good as an adult as a baby, if not better. And I know you can't always do that, but that's kind of something I shoot for and strive for because I want animals that when they if somebody's keeping them as a pet and not just as a breeder who's going to breed the animal later, I want the animal to look just as good as when they bought the day they bought it, not it brown out and just become kind of dull and boring like a lot of ball pythons do, unfortunately.
Oh.
So the Desert Ghost stuff, because it ages so well and looks better, that's to me the most exciting stuff for the season. We are also doing, hopefully, going to produce some ultra male ghosts this year, visual ultra male ghosts. So we have a visual ultra male ghost girl. We bought a visual ultra male het ghost het pied male from Aussie Boyd's that we're breeding to her this season. So hopefully we're going to be producing some of that. And then we
Hmm.
have some other Ultramel stuff we're working on too. So I'm a huge fan of Ultramel. So we have some cool Ultramel projects, some cool Desert Ghost projects. Those to me are probably the most exciting things for the season. What about you? You know, anything else stands out?
Um, no, I really want our lesser pastel pinstripe to get up to weight. She's one of the ones that is just I always want to say like just a few meals short, but I mean obviously way more than that. And I really want to see her actually produce for us. So we um we weren't able to breed her last year because she was just short. And then I think this year she just has kind of maintained.
Yeah, she kind of went off food for a while. She's been a
She did
shrink
go off food
eater.
for a little while, but I
Yeah.
think that even then it was like, well, we like to breed at 1500 for females, and she was maybe at like 12, I think,
Yeah.
last year. I'm trying to remember, you can't remember everybody's weight at every time. So she was maybe at like 12, and we were excited thinking, like, okay, well, then next year she'll be perfect. And I'm not even sure she gained. I think she just maintained and then just went off food and still maintained. And it was like, so I'd really like her to kind of jump on so that we can pair her with. I think earlier I was telling you banana and stuff, so maybe
Yeah.
that, maybe pair her with a banana.
Yeah.
But I guess what we have going right now that's definite, probably, um, yeah, probably the same. The Super Pastel Desert Ghost, just because I like the multi genes. I like seeing a lot of different things. I know that if you followed a lot of our videos earlier in the season, we produced a lot of hets. And while we had multiple males going to these females, so it wasn't guaranteed, I mean, it was kind of an option for us that we were, what's the word I'm looking for? Not expecting or like, but we were okay with because obviously we
Yeah.
paired them that way. But
Well,
we got a lot more hets than I think we really wanted, which is okay because those hets can be paired in a couple years to what we want to do. But um, I think that it's nice when you cut open a clutch and get excited about what could be there versus when everybody's going to look the same. It's nice and you're excited to make sure that they're still here and they're welcome to the world, but
yeah,
I like to guess. You know what I mean? It's like opening a little hatchable.
little gift. Yeah, I would add to that and say, unfortunately, a lot of our pairings we had to the backup male ended up being the male that we had to use this season, so that's why we ended up with so many hets and double
Oh,
hets and
thanks,
triple
Gray.
hets and yeah. So I was catching up on Gray's comments too. So
Again,
listen,
Cord, I'm
yeah,
sorry.
female pastel desert ghost, like I said, our super pastel desert ghost. I know she's only super pastel and desert ghost. To me, she is the best looking animal we have in our collection. And our collection right now is what, like 80-ish snakes, something like that. So she's
Something.
gorgeous, absolutely gorgeous. My favorite by far. And yes, I really want to get towards Ultramel clown stuff, but this year for us, so we don't have a visual clown male yet. and I don't want to put a het clown male to a visual ultramale female. So I'm really hoping this year we produce at least something visual clown male, so that in another year we'll be able to put that into the ultramale stuff because we have another 2 to 3 ultramale girls who will be ready next season.
Mm-hmm.
Visual ultramale girls, so that gives us a lot more opportunity to kind of put ultramale into other stuff. Right now, what do we have? This season we have our visual ultramale girl, our pinstripe het ultramale girl, and our ultramale ghost girl are the 3 ultramale females breeding this coming season.
Yes.
Yeah, and then desert ghost, we have that super pastel desert ghost, and then we have just a straight desert ghost visual female as well. So
Yes. And just for being straight Desert Ghost, she's actually one of my favorites. I didn't realize how much I'd like Desert Ghost um, by itself until we got this one.
yeah.
So,
We've been the first couple years we've been really trying to build up our base group of recessive females. You know, we need some more clowns. So we have a couple, but we need to build up some more clown females. We're doing pretty good with the ultramale females. I'd say starting next season we got a pretty good base. Pied females, we should have been here this year. We had 3 pied females that should have been ready this year, all of which have been terrible eaters this year for us and should have been
oh
ready.
yeah, yeah, that
So
happened.
yeah,
That happened last year too. I feel like they just,
so still short on pied females, but that hopefully will resolve itself next year as well. So a good base of recessive females to build off of.
so do you guys breed anything else other than um, ball pythons or anything like that, or have any future plans for anything? I know that we don't really get to show off our blood python or our green tree python because that's literally we only have the one. We're trying to get, well, for one, the GTP is nowhere near ready. It was not even sexed yet. It's not even old enough for that.
It's
So
only 2 years old.
yeah, so we're not ready for that. And then the blood python.
I'll interrupt you
Uh,
real quick. Hey,
oh yeah,
Genomic Labs, how you doing?
hey. Sorry again.
Holly can't see the
Yeah,
comments,
you
so I'm
just
just
started.
interrupt
There's
her
a
a little bit.
cord to. It's
Okay,
okay.
go keep going.
So we don't really get to show them off much. The blood python um is an adult. He's an adult, but we got him. Oh my gosh, when did we get him? We got it. Was it
March
March this
Tinley.
year?
Yeah,
March
it was
Tinley,
March Tinley.
and even the person that we got him from didn't have much information on him. I don't think. And so we were like, oh, okay, we'll take him in. We like the downtrodden, so we'll take him in, and we'll work with them. And he was pretty not ready to be handled, but now he's like
You are
super.
you are understating that. He was not having any of
Mm-mm.
being touched at all. Like not in the
Yeah, no,
slightest.
he didn't want anything to do with us. And I was kind of worried thinking that this is how they all are. I know they have the reputation of people say they have that aggressive. No, a snake is
Defensive.
aggressive. You know what I mean?
Defensive.
It depends on what situation's happening to them at that moment. And he was definitely a little breathy. Every once in a
Yeah.
while he'd get a little huffy and hissy and
Every once in a while, every time. He
okay, yeah,
was
I'm understating. It was anytime you opened his tub
yeah.
or tried to clean him or tried to just look under his hide or anything. So anyway, the point is um we weren't sure we were. I said I wasn't sure if I wanted to even breed him because I felt like I don't want to invade him and all that, and he'll just be our little man, and we'll look our big man, and we'll keep him until whatever. But he's tamed up much nicer. He doesn't huff as much when we open. Actually, he barely huffs at all now. So um, proper handling. That's good.
I agree. GTPs are super cool. I would say as much as I love the ball pythons, and I really do, I love ball pythons. I love their demeanor. I love the morphs. It fits my kind of collect everything personality. So I collect a lot of stuff too, along with all the hobbies. But anyway, I digress. But the GTP is probably my favorite animal that we have in our collection. I definitely want to breed GTPs, but we're trying to work out where ball pythons and crested geckos are going to fall within the breeding program because crested geckos have been doing well as their ball pythons. So I want to get GTPs in there, but it's a significant investment to get started because as babies they're not sexed, so you're kind of gambling at whether or not you're going to get a good ratio of males to females. Females from birth take 4 years till you can breed them. So even if we get them next year, that's 4 years till we breed anything. Um, and
Excuse me.
then they are keep your face in. Pretend that you like me. Get closer. Um, they are a little more delicate, which we haven't really had any issues, but we'll see. Um, I'm also hesitant to get ones that are imported in, and it's very hard and expensive to buy U.S. captive born and bred GTPs. Though they do well, and that's what we have. Our current one is U.S. captive born and bred. They carry a price premium to not have to worry about bringing in viruses,
Yeah,
parasites. Basically, if you get a GTP, that's been imported, you better be prepared to run a gambit of tests on it to make sure that it's clean, no parasites, um, no viruses, and be willing to do a good 3 month quarantine on it. So I haven't been willing to dedicate another area of our house to that yet. And on top of that, then going the other route, there's a huge price premium that I haven't been able to justify buying, 10 animals plus from around the country to
true,
hopefully get a good ratio of males to females.
true. We got ours from S&J, so it's Ian, right?
Ian,
Ian.
yes.
I always want to mix up him with the other gentleman that you got another animal from. I'm
Good
sorry.
good talking to you, Gray. Have a
Have
good
a good
evening.
night. Good night, Miranda and Emma.
So yeah, it's I greatly enjoy our GTP. He's definitely my favorite of our I say he. I'm hoping for a she. I could call her a she. She is one of my favorite. I'm really hoping that she turns out to be a she. So we will see. We'll see.
That's how it works, right? You say what you want and it happens.
Yeah. Hopefully.
Like you keep saying she, so you get a girl. You keep saying he, so you get a boy.
Yeah.
That's how that works, right?
You can just sit up again. You're getting
I'm
told.
sorry. This
Yeah,
chair's
Holly's just
terrible.
moving all over. She's
I
like,
know, but
she's over
this
here. She's out screening to the side. She's
I
she's
am.
up here. Then she's like down in the crunch in the corner. It's all over the place.
I
You can't get
am.
her to stay.
It's like
Hi,
that. It's
Lori.
like that all the time.
Welcome, welcome.
Hello.
So, was anybody else any else breeding? Now that Gray and I chit and chatted a while about our breeding plans for season. Anybody else do breeding? Keep as a hobby. What all do you have other than ball pythons? Any other kind of
Well, I
animals?
unfortunately Gray left. I actually I saw and then I kind of got sidetracked on the GTP stuff, but he said they were thinking about super dwarf retics and like that's pretty cool. Like I
That
really like that. I know Daryl's mentioned about us getting a retic in the future.
have I in a video? Maybe I
Maybe
might
not. No, no,
have.
no. Just in
Probably
just
just to
us,
us.
but
Yeah.
talked about that and for in the future. And I wasn't sure about it only because I'm 5'2" and
The retic would be three
Re
times your
yeah,
size.
retake would be super huge compared to me, and yes, it would be the two of us, but anyway, so I've seen on Garrett Hartle, I've seen his super dwarfs, and like look pretty amazing. So I like the. I mean, I
Yeah.
know they're not. They don't mean literally like, oh, it's gonna be the size of a ball python. I know that they're still big, but um, they're. I just think they're pretty cool. So.
They still have a good length to them. They're not as bulky as a full
Mhm.
size retic. Um, I have pythons and some super dwarf cross retics.
Oh,
Very
cool.
cool. Very cool.
Yeah, I love that. I love seeing the different kinds. I mean, I know that we breed balls, and I know that we like oops, hold on, ball pythons, and I feel like they're like the little puppies of the snake, the reptile keepers. But um, I love when we go to Tinley or even another local show that the all the different snakes that they have. And I think that the dwarfs are pretty neat.
Yeah. So what questions do you guys have for us? Just shoot them out. It doesn't have to be reptile related. If you have something else,
We obviously talk a lot, or at
uh,
least Daryl does.
I can. I
So
can.
here's the opposite. So we're in a realm of, the reptile community. You'll talk with anybody there, especially when we go to shows. But when we're like with our friends, Daryl's the
I'm the
lay
quiet
back and
one.
kind of observe kind of guy,
Yeah,
and I'm the chatty one.
it's true. It's definitely I'm definitely a talker when it comes to things that I'm very, very passionate about. Reptiles being one of those things. And Holly is typically just a talker in general, and she gets very shy in front of the camera. So you'll notice in our videos she's also very, very quiet. So convince her to talk more in the videos, so I'm not the only one talking in our videos.
Mm.
Husband wants to get a berm. You see, we debated between a berm and a retic, and I don't know. I'm not educated enough to give you a good, solid opinion
Opinion on what
on
we would
which
do.
one we would get. I would say I like the look of retics better. There's quite a few that I have seen that I'm like, you know what? I like that. And if we,
Well, because you like the purples.
yes, and I don't know if we would ever breed retics. Honestly, probably the likelihood is low. But we do want to do. We would like to get our collection of other types of animals big enough to be able to do kind of outreach programs locally, where we go to a
School and stuff.
school or I was an Eagle Scout, so I'd love to go to scout troops,
Hmm.
give back to the scouts because they gave a lot to me growing up, and give back to that kind of community by doing kind of outreach programs, bringing the animals out. I enjoy teaching kids that snakes aren't scary like a lot of people think they are. So we've had at least one person this season that I know of that we sold their first reptile ever to them, and that was really really hit you right in the feels to be able to be the person that helps get them into reptiles for the very first time and see that passion in their eyes and excitement over getting
Is
their
this the
first
young lady
reptile.
that we
That
did
was
the
local.
actual drop off?
Yeah, that was
Yeah,
local.
yeah. That was really cool. She was a fantastic young adult going to college, all the stuff she's doing.
Yeah.
So yeah, so for us to be like there for her, and then that was pretty cool.
So bananas. So next year,
Oh
that's awesome. I always
yeah,
love
I
seeing
would
that.
love
Yeah.
that.
So
But
next year we still have our banana female that bred this year is she's back up to size. So she should be breeding again this year next year. So hopefully she'll lay a clutch for us. And then we also have a visual banana pied male that's breeding to quite a few females. So there's going to be a whole bunch of
he
stuff
better
from
be.
him that is probably banana pieds. Well, everything will be het pied. Banana het pieds, banana pieds, and then probably banana and other genes het pied as well coming from him too. And then our banana clutch that we hatched this year won't be. None of them are breeding this year. So yeah, those are the two main bananas we got
Who
going
the
on.
bananas that we just hatched?
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Mhm.
Holly's over there dancing beside me now. She's all over the place.
Well,
And
and then
then
the
there was
awkward
the awkward
silence.
silence where I thought Holly was gonna say something, and
Oh
then she
please!
she
You thought
said
I was gonna actually do
nothing.
something? I'm awkward
Absolute
all the time.
silence. So
And
what else do you have, Lori? Do you have ball pythons? Something else? What do you keep? Breed? Do you breed?
there's a delay, so
Yeah,
we're
there is.
asking now,
Yeah, there is like
and then we'll keep
from when we
talking.
talk to when you guys hear us, there's about a 20 to 30-second delay. So by the time we see your comment and then you hear us reply to it, there's a delay in there. I don't know how to get rid of it. We've just started doing live streamings recently, and it's only our second one that we've done. So it's a huge delay, unfortunately. I wish I knew how to get rid of it, but I don't.
I wish I knew how to get rid of a lot of things.
Why? Thank you. Um,
I'm
I enjoy the live streams. We
sorry.
actually enjoy sitting and chit chatting with people. The problem is typically on Sundays, we spend most of Sunday doing,
It's like our major day for the animals,
yeah,
and well um, for exquisite exotic animals. Now we of course have pets that take some time and work too. But yeah, Sundays are we go to pick up any lives that we have that are feeding live, and we also feed
almost all the ball
almost everybody that's
pythons.
frozen thawed. So
Yeah,
that's that takes time to thaw and takes time to feed, and we like to record data.
nice
And
seeing you, Genomic.
oh, you leaving? Have a
Yeah,
good night.
so
And so we do that. We do thorough cage cleaning on our geckos, and we do a whole bunch of other stuff. Anything that might require daylight that we don't get during the week, because Daryl mentioned earlier, we do both have full time jobs outside
Yeah.
of this. So, um, yeah,
So definitely Sundays is tough for us to do live streams. I mean, we're busy the rest of the week too, but we prefer doing live streams on Sundays. It seems when most people can do um, to do them
yeah.
is yeah.
Plus, it's also football Sunday right now, so some people are probably watching their actual teams win. We don't have that.
So you have two normals, a pastel yellow belly, and a pewter. Very cool. Very cool. All babies. We started
I
with
love the
we started
pastel,
with
man.
simple stuff too. So that's definitely. If you want any advice, I will. My one piece of advice I give everybody is get into recessive stuff early. If there's a recessive or more than one recessive you're interested in, it takes so long to produce recessive stuff, especially if you produce hets and you want to breed those hets back to something to produce visuals. It takes a long time. And if you look at prices of recessive females, and I can't guarantee this will hold true forever, but for example, a pied female will cost you maybe $350 for a baby, right? But a visual pied female adult will sell for, depending on, I've seen it fluctuate between about $1,200 and $1,600.
Hmm.
So money wise, if you care about that at all, the value of the recessive visual females seems to go up. Um, now, not maybe for everything. Like albinos, they don't tend to go up a ton. They go up from like $200 to $400 ish from a baby to an adult. But definitely the pieds, the clowns, ultramels, any of the real popular, really really popular recessive
Ghost.
stuff. Ghost is hit or miss. Desert Ghost,
Oh,
um,
that's you. Sorry, that's what I meant. Desert
Desert
Ghost. I'm
Ghost,
sorry.
any of that stuff. It's definitely I feel worth it to buy a baby and raise up because if you decide it doesn't fit into your plan or your collection later, you can always sell it and you're not going to lose money, quotes, air quotes, lose money. And it's recessive stuff takes so long to work with those projects that it's good to get started early. So just my little helpful 2 cents. So we were planning on running the live stream about an hour, and we're coming up on that hour. Is there any questions that you have that we can answer? I'd be glad to, whether that's about us, whether that's just questions about care, whether that's really anything. If you have anything you want to ask, go ahead. I want to get it in here before we end the live stream for the day. What do you?
I
You were
saw
just
you
you
because we're in
saw
the
just
building.
swaying
Oh,
back and forth,
I'm
swaying back
sorry. I'm
and
in a
forth,
good mood.
just
It's funny. Daryl actually mentioned any like advice that he could give anybody, and actually, here's my advice. So we've been doing this. It'll be coming up on 3 years in a few months that we first started. That we were like a blip on the radar, and in that time, if you can't tell from conversation, Daryl's very thorough and very organized when it comes to how things are and everything. And I think that's just his personality. So he understood the genetics immediately, talking about recessives and everything. He understood that immediately, how we were going to go about. I still struggle sometimes with certain things, and Daryl has taught me pundit squares over and over again, and I get it, but then I kind of forget a little bit, and then I have to come back to it. So that's one thing I think that I would probably give advice on is learn your pundit squares, learn what you want to do and what you want to achieve, and figure out how to get to that, and it'll be so much better short term instead of kind of fumbling through it over the years, which seems kind of silly to give that advice to, but obviously I would have benefited from that. So, that's just my opinion is understanding what you want your end goal to be, or at least what you want your collection to look like at some point, and starting in the beginning from there.
and forge your own path. Don't chase after whatever is most popular because by the time you produce that thing, it's not going to be the most popular thing anymore. So kind of forge your own path where you want to go,
Hmm.
and don't just try to follow the popular trend because you'll always be behind if you are following the popular trend. you have an opportunity to set yourself apart and out front if you're setting the popular trend.
Oh, absolutely.
Right.
Like right now, you can get what we mentioned banana pie earlier, right? I don't even know how much they go for right now because that's who we have as a breeder. So let's just say you're like, you know what? I love that. That's what I want to go for, but it's only selling for like 400 right now. Again, I don't even know what it would be online. It doesn't matter what it's going for if that's what you want to do. You're going to do better when you're happy with what you're doing and you're passionate about what you're doing versus just trying to achieve something like, you know, the next so and so. You're not going to do that.
So if I understand your question, Lori, it's are we ever going to stop working like uh, air quotes again regular jobs to do the ball pythons as like our jobs? So the answer is hopefully at some point. We have kind of some goals set out. I really would like in about 3 years for Holly to start working just with our animals part time and have a part time job so that it gives some of our rest of our life back because working full time jobs and taking care of the same many animals is definitely like working two full time jobs for both of us. So there is a point where I'm hoping Holly goes part time. Then maybe eventually she would go full time running the business with our animals. I probably, in all likelihood, will continue working a 9 to 5. Well, for me, I work 6:30 to 3, but I'll probably continue my office job for a long time, if not till retirement. But I definitely would like to see Holly take over the business and just do that full time, at least at some point. At least at some point.
We'll see how
Yeah.
good how good
So
that'll be.
yeah, the
You
current
get
goal.
this all the time then.
Yeah, the current goal
That
is
awkward.
3 years. 3 years from now, so that's like 6 years into us starting this, that Holly's able to work half her time on our business. Well, I won't say half. Part time somewhere else, and the rest of the time working the business.
hmm Part time to have an actual like paycheck from somebody else,
Yeah,
to make sure that we can still maintain afloat.
and then have
And
the
then the
animals pay the
animals,
other half of your
the
paycheck.
goal is not to obviously become millionaires off this. The
No, they're
goal is to first of all, work for yourself because both of us have always wanted to work for ourselves. Both of us have always loved animals. Funny story, real quick. It's funny that we went into reptiles. Daryl has always been exotic animals. I've just kind of leaned towards cats because we had a cat growing up, and I felt like that was like my only thing I could ever have, and I love them. But Daryl really opened my eyes to a lot more, like animals when we first started dating. Um, but it's funny because my brother actually had a ball python, and at one point it got out, and we lived in a townhouse community. So of course my mom thought, oh well, it's gone forever among these umpteen houses that are here. And I'll never forget one evening coming home from school. I was told I needed to go do laundry, so I went into the basement to do laundry for my family. And it was on the steps, and I flipped out. I saw this snake on the steps, and I just flipped out, thinking, I must have been like 10, maybe. Flipping out, thinking that it was, the end of my life because it was this snake that wasn't supposed to be there. And here I am later now raising them. So,
and to touch back on something Holly mentioned. She mentioned about not planning out anything about getting rich. No plans to get rich.
oh yeah,
Yeah,
this
listen.
isn't.
Yeah, no. There is no aspiration that this is ever going to be a get rich quick kind of thing. It is a lot of work, a ton of work, and it'd be great if one day that ton of work was enough to support one of us. What instead of having to go to an office type job or a regular nine to
To go
five
make
type.
somebody else money, make
Yes,
myself money.
exactly. So that's kind of our goal. That was one of the goals of starting this was that, at some point Holly doesn't have to go to that kind of job anymore.
Well, it would have been either one of us, but realistically, it makes more sense to be me.
Yeah.
I say unfortunately, like
Fortunately for her.
but
Unfortunately for me.
unfortunately for Daryl, I know you would love to be a stay-at-home kitty daddy.
Listen, I'd love to be a
So,
stay-at-home dad if Holly could like
not a dad, but like
tons of money and I just could stay at home and do I am a jack of all trades. We talked about earlier in the video. If I could just do random hobby type things to make money, which I could, just not as much money as I make now going to a job is the problem. So If I could just do that and Holly could make the majority of our money, that would be sweet.
Mm,
But that's probably not going to happen.
excuse me.
So, yeah, no
Well,
aspirations to get rich off of it, but, just enough to make a
enough to
reasonable
be a
living
job,
for one person, you know?
If I can make what I make now,
Yeah,
which isn't completely unreasonable,
no.
um, that would be key, right?
Listen,
Or even like a year or two ago before I got promoted at this job, like I could make that and we would survive. So
yeah, we're
that kind of thing.
average folks out here in the country. We do live
Actually, we are kind of near in the country. There's a rodeo across the street from us,
we do
so
live out
it's
in the country, which I love and enjoy very much. I love living out away from things, but we're definitely not driving around no Lambos. Nope.
no. I just had my muffler break on my Toyota. We're not
Raz.
exactly
Yeah.
you're not exactly driving the Aston Martins over here.
Listen, I don't get me wrong. If I could, I would drive a Lambo, but I'm not rolling in the Mad
Well,
Ducats.
maybe
It's not happening. So,
maybe a Lambo. I might be okay with a Lambo.
all right.
Yeah, I guess that's about it. It's Sunday night. Most people have to get up tomorrow morning.
Yeah. We're East Coast time, so for us, it's 8, a little after 8, and I get up for work at a little before 5. So, it's about time to call this for the night. We really appreciate
Yeah,
everybody joining us. I don't
absolutely.
know. We're not going to do this every Sunday, probably, at least not with our current schedules, but we'll try to throw these in occasionally. I know that people enjoy them, and we really like sitting and being able to chat with people. You know, doing all our YouTube stuff we do is great to give you guys information, but all we get back from it is the comments, and I love reading comments, and I comment back to everybody, but having that live conversation back and forth, you get so much more out of it. So it was great to talk to everybody. And we will talk to you all later. Have a great
All
night,
right, have a
everybody.
great night. Thank you.
Bye, everybody.
Now, did it end it before we actually said goodnight?